Now, I cleaned that as much as I could. This is dry here, so it's not leaking here. Don't see any cracks, nothing coming from the top. There seems to be oil coming down through in this area here. I mean, the engine just sits on the base. I doubt there's any gasket there. That wouldn't make sense. I watched enough engine videos of tractors to know that there's no gasket here. There'd be no point in putting one on. So it almost looks like it's leaking from there, but it's very minor. The only thing is it makes a mess of everything, as you saw on the stuff that I had on that thing underneath. So what I got to do here is I got to clean this mess up so I can get up underneath there and get this belt taken care of. All right, when the brake released, when I accidentally pressed on the clutch pedal, everything loosened up even more, and I was able to get the old belt out. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but you know what? About the same length. And half inch by 95 inches, which is the main dry belt. So what I'm going to do, when I put it in, I'm going to put it in on the front part first to get it over that bottom, that double stack pulley. The small one, of course, is the dry pulley, and the one in the off the engine that's bigger is the one I couldn't get it over. So I'll put that in first, thread it through, and then put it over the big wheel in the back. And if I can do that, I won't have to flip the tractor over. I was looking at the spindle under here. I was looking at this double stack pulley, I meant to say. And if I had to pull the engine out of here, this pulley wouldn't clear it. In other words, you're supposed to remove this. But I wouldn't pull the engine anyway. That's a huge, huge job. I don't care what anybody says. So there is no bolt. I'm running my fingers all around. There's no bolt or a set screw. Well, it wouldn't be a screw. It would probably be a bolt. Nothing on that to hold it to the engine shaft, unless it's press fitted in there. There is nothing. I'm going all the way around this. So, and there's no big nut in the middle of this that I know of, unless it's up inside here. But anyways, I want to get it over this part, thread it over here, and then back. I'm not going to hold the camera and do that. I'm just going to do it, and if I'm successful, I'll show you. And I don't remember whether the belt went on this side or this side of this. Okay, I got the belt on without having to flip the tractor over. I was putting it on the wrong side of the idler pulley. Yeah, it figures. Alright, let me take you under here and show you. Now, after cut and try, I had it on. I had this on here. The book says the shift level. This is not the shift lever bar. This is the blade actuator that turns the mowing deck on and off. The shift lever has nothing to do with being set in between here, but that's what the diagram shows, so it really screws you up by looking at wrong information. So I've got this up, and I got to put this plate that I took off of here with the two keepers, so they got to go on here, and then back here I got to tighten these up now. All right, the V shape, you got to make sure the V of the belt is inward. You make sure that the flat side goes on against the idler wheel. I had the thing on the wrong side. I had off camera, of course. I had it in reverse. and I had it on this belt here instead of this. That's why you live and learn, you know. But it's so much easier if you could turn the tractor on its side. It's definitely 100% better to do it that way. It's so much easier because you can sit in a chair and actually do it. I just noticed a rubber wheel here or something. I don't know what that is. All right. And then there's lubrication places that I want to do also. I put a little bit of that white lithium grease, that lubriplate on here, but it really don't have to be because it's got a bearing and it rides on, I should say. So right now I don't think it's in gear, is it? If it is, it's not very tight. Yeah, it is in gear. No, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I hope the belt isn't too big. It calls for a 95-inch belt, and you've seen me measure them, and they look pretty close. The old belt really wasn't stretched, any that I could see. And it was somewhat worn. Now, if I push this down, everything loosens up. Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is to tighten up all the belt guides and put this thing back in. This here. And when I get all this in, I'll come back on the video. And what I'll probably do, I'll probably take it off the blocks and ride it around and see, and you have to adjust the clutch. Now I have to find out how to do that. Before I put the mowing deck on, we're going to give this a run. We got to put the battery in, of course. I don't think the clutch needs adjusting because it says something about a space here, and it doesn't come against here. So, in other words, this is engaged even though the belt is tight, but it isn't real tight. It can't go back anymore. I mean, in other words, it's adjusted right, what my feeling is. And the only way to find out, if I got forward traction, of course, is to try it out. So we're going to put the battery in. We're going to give this a run. I tightened up the 3 belt keepers, rods, and the easiest way to get them is put a 1/2-inch wrench here and loosen it from here, and tighten them back up the same way, and then I reach up underneath with a box wrench, well actually an end wrench, because you can't get a box wrench in there because it's too close to the pulley, and you can snug them back up, and then once they get a little snug, then you can torque down on these. Under here, tires are getting soft again. I gotta get that green slime that the guys have been telling me about. Under here you can see I got the belt in the keepers, and these are still loose because I can tighten these. I can get at these okay. Once I broke them free, I'll be able to do it without worrying about rounding the nuts off. So this thing is supposed to be in the middle here. So we'll look like we're good to go, and I think the clutch adjustment, I think this is it. But the pedal, there is a space. See that here? So they're saying something about a space there. I don't recall what the fraction of an inch is, but it appears to be a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8. So in other words, you can't adjust it any more than what it is. So it seems like the belt could be a little tighter, but when you push down on the clutch, and it takes all the strain off of it, and hopefully this will go good. We'll find out we're gonna drive this tractor off the blocks, and we're gonna give it a run. But before we do that, I better get this thing out of here. We can't go riding around with this, can we? All right, let's give her a start. And I'll just do a little bit of shifting and see if I can get it like in reverse and forward and so forth. That's the big test. It's shifting very well. All right, it worked very well. Shifted excellent. Of course, I didn't dare put it into fourth or fifth because it would be too fast for this yard. What I'm going to do, and I'll do that off camera, is going to reach and feel the idler wheel, make sure it's not running hot. And if everything checks out okay under there, the next challenge is to put the belt in here. Looks like I put a little too much oil in there, but that's all right. But before we do that, even take care of that, there's some places underneath here that need oiling. Now, I didn't see anything in the book about the transaxle oil. I did not see that. So I'm not sure if that has lube in there and how you do it or whatever. I'm going to have to study the book on that. Well, I just went in and had a bite to eat. I suppose I ought to turn this over and inspect the blades. The blades are going to be pretty bad. Now I got a slit here. It doesn't say anything about lubricating these, but I did oil them. I'm going to wipe some of that excessive oil off of there, and I'm going to put the new belt on. I don't want to take this off until I make sure I have the new one in here, and I'll put it on the same way. I don't want to mess it up here. Alright. The first thing I want to do is to remove this idler wheel and see if the spindle needs oiling. And I have to probably remove it anyways because it's got a belt keeper here. And I think you have to do like I did with the idler underneath the tractor. I better not. I might snap that off. There's no nut on the other side, but I'm afraid. I hate to put a lot of pressure on things. I'm afraid I'm going to break things up, you know. Somebody was walking by, so. Nope, I ain't gonna get that off. I ain't getting that off. What we'll do, if I have to, I'll bend this out to get the... I ain't getting that off, I'll tell you. That's in there. I could probably use an impact on that. The jarring might be better for it than trying to break it. I mean, I could put a bigger, you know, bigger wrench on it. I'm going to break the damn thing, and then I got nothing. Because it's part of this assembly, and then I'd have to drill it out, put a stud in there, and the wheel is okay, I just want to lubricate it. But I also need to get this off to get this belt out of here. Well, like I say, I'll just bend this. It's only a thin piece of sheet metal anyways. I can bend that back and get that off. Just oil it that way. So. That's all. Now, this is the motor end here. So the V goes in here, V here, 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 and here. Now, am I going to get it over there okay? Let's see. Yeah. It should. Here, that's not removable. I guess you just bend that back with a pair of pliers gently. Get the belt out. a picture of it. Right. That looks right. I think we got it. If this ever breaks, then well, I got nothing to lose. Then I'll have to get that out. But I would use an impact on it because then it's probably more apt to come out without getting damaged. I got my Harbor Freight electric impact. I can use it on that. I mean, I can put a bigger bar on that and get it out, but I'm going to probably snap the bolt off. So, I just wanted to oil this, and it spins quite freely. So. Well, this is the first time now we're going to try the mowing deck. And I hope I got everything on right. And we'll find out.
It's working.
We're gonna put it down to the fourth gear. Ready?
Boy, he's really flying now. He's really moving along now, folks.
Well, it's it's a success. Everything worked perfectly. Of course, the blades have to be changed, but I put it in all the gears. I had it even up to 5th gear. And most of the mowing was done in 3rd gear. It shifts perfectly. Everything's perfect on it. So, well, I'm going to put it back in here. That concludes the video of the 1993 Murray riding mower belt installation and other things. Thank you for watching.